Project focus. Let go of the focus, right?
And today we have the pleasure of hosting one of the brightest stars in Kenya. He's a rising star, he's a whiz kid. His name is Rohan Shah. He's only 17 years old, but the things he has been able to achieve are humongous, they are momentous, they are crazy. You're gonna be listening to his story shortly. He has a passion for wildlife, a passion for photography, and also he's an athlete who plays for the Kenyan Rugby under 18 team. We have Rohan today here with us. He has won numerous international awards for his amazing work in photography, and he draws all this inspiration from his mother, from his father, from his brothers, from the environment, and from very many big superstars who have been documenting wildlife for so many years. But what really pushes Rohan on? Where did he get this bag from? What next for this rising superstar? And what also can we expect moving forward? My name is Kabuga. This is Citizen Digital. Let's welcome Rohan to the show. Rohan, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fiti lakini.
Ndio, kabisa.
Unajua Kiswahili?
Ndio.
You know Swahili?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. You are quite a brilliant young man. And when I was speaking to your dad, first thing I told him, you have such a brilliant son. Where would you say this comes from? Does it come from your dad, or from your mom, or from your grandfather? Inatoka wapi? Where is it coming from?
I mean, it doesn't take one person to build who I am today.
True.
So, I mean, it's through my family support, so my mom, my dad, my brother's support, and also my mentor Jeffrey Wu's support in shaping who I've become today. And just mainly my family, because they've been there with me from the beginning, and just supporting every step I take in my high school path, my school life. Before high school, photography, sports, music.
Because in Africa they say when someone is very brilliant, very successful, the father takes the credit in Africa. It's like the dad.
Yeah.
That's not the case in your home, clearly.
No. It's everyone in my family, grandparents, mom, dad, and just
everyone
Jeffrey
playing
Wu.
their role.
Yes. It doesn't take one person. Like I mentioned, it doesn't take one person to make someone successful. It's a whole village who supports them in making them successful.
For a 17-year, you're 17, right?
Yes, I'm 17.
You sound very, very mature, very eloquent, very in touch of what you're saying. How so?
So, actually, my mom used to train public speaking. She was on radio. So I'm going to give credit to her for this one.
At least for this, okay.
Yeah. She's helped me improve my speaking skills, public speaking skills. And I moved from Peponi to ISK, International School of Kenya. And in Peponi, we had like these poetry competitions. So through that, I've also been able to like improve my speech a lot. So public speaking is...
Okay. Let's talk about your love for wildlife. When did it begin? At what point? I love wildlife so much. I love it. But I haven't dabbled in it either professionally or whichever other way.
Yeah.
At what point did you begin your love for the wildlife?
So from the age of about 3 years old, my parents have been taking me to like several national parks, national reserves like Masai Mara, Nairobi National Park, Amboseli, countless. I think I've been to over like 9 national reserves in the country. And since then, over the years, I have seen the ever-changing need for conservation. And seeing like wildlife population decreasing for such vulnerable species like cheetahs, leopards.
Lions?
So actually for lions and hyenas it's actually different. The population's increasing.
Oh, okay. I never knew that.
Yeah, so
I never knew that.
So for hyenas it's like doubling every year. So but for like cheetahs and leopards, elephants, rhinos, population's decreasing. And I wanted to show through my wildlife photography, as photography is my passion, that we need to conserve what we have in Kenya.
Sure.
Kenya is very rich and diverse in wildlife, and the species we have here, in some countries you can't even find them. So through my wildlife photography, what I wanted to achieve is showing the younger generations that we need to conserve what we have and more, so that the future generations can see what we have right now, maybe even more of what we have.
True. So that is the vision that you have. So at what point did you start taking photos, go into the sanctuaries, wildlife, the nature parks, and actually taking photos? At what point did it begin?
So at about the age of 6, my dad got me a small pocket camera, like point and shoot, and since then I've developed my passion for photography. Is when I realized, I can actually showcase the beauty of this country through the lens of a camera. And over the years, my dad bought me more professional cameras. And then in 2021, October, I started the mentorship and training under Jeffrey Wu.
How old were you at that point? That is, you must have been
13.
13. Yeah, true. 13.
Yeah, 13. And that's when I started taking photography to another level. And when I came under the mentorship of Jeffrey Wu, he shaped my skills as a photographer, but also as a person. People skills, but mainly the photography skills, how to take the photos, how to process the photos, how to position the vehicle, how to analyze animals' behaviors as well.
And you actually know that.
Yes.
And you're still learning. You talk about Jeffrey a lot. Maybe you want to tell us who Jeffrey is, maybe?
So Jeffrey Wu is a Chinese Canadian wildlife photographer, and he's based here in Kenya. And I've been under his mentorship for just over 3 years, in which those 3 years I've won 3 international photography awards. And he has given me endless guidance and endless support through this time. And he has played a very pivotal role in my life and has shaped me who I am today.
Wow. Kudos to Jeffrey. Let's talk about the awards you've won. I just read somewhere, maybe you need to tell us as well. Tell us each award you won, which year was that, and how was that for you, especially? The first award was...
the first award was when I was 14, just turned 15, actually.
That is 2022?
2022,
yes.
Right. And I won the runner-up in the 14 and under category for Travel Photographer of the Year 2022. And at that moment, I was overwhelmed with joy, and I was extremely happy because I was so young, and to have won an International Photography Award was almost a dream come true. And then in 2023, I won the People's Choice Award of Travel Photographer of the Year. And the most recent award is the runner-up in the young category for the Nature in Focus Competition 2024.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and you emerged as
the runner-up of the young category.
How does every award make you feel as a person, and as Rohan, and also as an ambassador for wildlife? What does that make you feel?
So it shows that, I'm putting Kenya on the map. It shows that there is someone out there from Kenya who is showcasing our beauty, our rich and diverse wildlife that we have. And it makes me want to raise awareness for this conservation of what we have. And then also it motivates me as an individual to keep on doing what I'm doing, so I can take my level and a step even higher.
Wow, that's brilliant. And I'm sure your dad and your mom, and your brother, who is 13?
15.
15.
Yeah.
How important is the role that your dad has played in your entire journey so far?
So my dad's role...
I know your mom has been there, but let's talk about your dad for now.
So my dad is the one who got in touch with Jeffrey Wu. Well, and also, as I mentioned previously, he's the one who's been getting me the cameras, the new equipment. And he's the one who also got in touch with Jeffrey Wu. And he mentioned to him that he wants Jeffrey to teach me as a student. That is probably one of the biggest impacts that he has shown in my life, in my photography career as well. And he's always constantly pushing me to do my best in the fields that I'm taking part in. For example, photography, music, sports, and this Kenya under-18 rugby. He has really pushed me to continue and keep on playing until I get selected for the highest level.
Let's talk about the rugby. At what point did you join the rugby team? You are in the official rugby team in Kenya?
Yes, in the Kenya under-18s.
Kenya under-18 team. Yes. And at what point did you join it, and how has it been for you? I expect you to have to be a very buff guy to play rugby. I don't know.
So
I never that.
we had a set of 3 trials that started in May and finished in September.
Which year?
Last year.
Last year.
And as soon as I got the news, so I was in school, I had a free block, and then mom calls me. And she's like, congratulations. And I was like, for what? And she said that I've been selected for the Kenya under-18 rugby team.
Wow.
And at that moment, I was like
Overwhelmed.
over the moon.
Yeah,
like,
I can imagine.
I was almost like in tears, tears of joy. And it was a crazy experience for me. And like you said, you have to like be buff. But for me, it's like, I play scrum half, so I don't necessarily have to be the biggest on the field. I have to have the mind to know how to play the game, like be 2 steps ahead of the game is what they say. But also have that fitness ability, because as a scrum half you need to be at every single breakdown on the field. So kudos to my coach, Nick Abala, who coached me through this journey since beginning of May all the way up until now. Actually, in fact, he's been my school coach for the last 3 years as well.
And have you already been to the field? Have you played like any games so far?
So not yet.
Oh, okay.
We've not played any games as a team so far.
Okay.
But we did have a training camp back in December.
Something is definitely coming up.
Yeah, something's coming up for sure.
Something's coming up. There's something you did at the Masai Mara with schools and with charity organizations. You want to tell us what that was and what it was all about?
So my brother and I, we both had this idea of helping the local Maasai community. And for me, well, for both of us, they have been a part of, like, Masai Mara is our second home.
True. You're always there.
Yes.
True.
In fact, whenever I have a break, I always almost try to be there.
Down there.
So the community there has supported me through this journey of mine and has supported me to where I am today. And what we wanted to do is give back to the community. And we organized this concert called Mara Melodies in November last year, 2024, in conjunction with the Ma Trust. And what the Ma Trust do is they work with the local Maasai communities to better their lives. So what we did is we collected funds through their concert. And with those funds, we were able to build a library in a primary school in Masai Mara. Then we also donated chairs and tables to that same school because we saw those kids were sitting on stones, on the floors, or they have just this like piece of wood that's like, those benches that are put together.
I know that.
And they're all like sat literally.
I probably used those benches. I mean, you never know, huh?
So they was just sat like all squished up, and I felt that we needed to do something about it. And this was my way of giving back. And we also donated bunk beds to a different school.
So who is doing the donations? Is it your family? Is it your friends? Is it a public thing? How did you go about it?
For the library, we got, so the Ma Trust has connections that help us.
Sponsors.
Yes. So they get books from overseas. And it's an old container though, that gets redone, refurbished into a nice library with windows, shelves. But for the chairs and tables and the bunk beds, some of our family friends supported in this cause of this concert. And they saw what was happening as well. So like the bunk beds, the children were sleeping on the floors, hard concrete floors like this. And it's like, we need to do something as well about that. So people donated 50 bunk beds to this cause. And 75 tables and chairs. And it's all friends and family who also wanted to support this cause.
Is the library already up? The library?
The library, not yet, but it's soon. I think by the beginning of March, it should be up.
Okay. You talked about, when you started this, you talked about hyenas dwindling, the numbers are dwindling, the elephants, they said leopards as well, they're decreasing.
Yeah.
What would you attribute that to?
So, I mean, elephants is, the main cause is poaching.
For elephants especially.
Yeah, elephants, rhinos, but the poaching rates have decreased severely, and which is a good thing. The and I'm working closely with the Mara Elephant Project. And what they do is they try prevent and they try to teach the local communities like between the human-wildlife conflict that they have. So when I work with them, I see what they do and their conservation efforts into like reducing the amount of conflict that we have between elephants and humans, and how that is going to help us increase the elephant population. But for leopards, I mean, leopards, cheetahs is not a known cause. I mean, there's other predators like lions and hyenas around. So like for cheetahs, the survival rate of cubs is only
Very
5%. So 1 in 20 cheetah cubs survive to adulthood, which is a very, very low number for what we have. And with other threats such as lions, hyenas,
Even
human-wildlife conflict plays a big role.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is raise awareness about the conservation of these species, to know that these species is why we have what we have, why Kenya is such rich wildlife, and we're grateful to see them out in the open.
Do you think the Kenyan government is doing enough?
I mean,
Your honest answer. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know.
there are some places where they are doing enough to like try educate the locals, and for me, I would like to partner in some way that I can also incorporate my wildlife photography with them and their education into teaching these local communities that this is our beauty. Tourism and wildlife is what is like Kenya's main source of income. So it's like I want to partner with them through my wildlife photography, their education, my education of what we know about this wildlife, to show them that we need to conserve this because this is what keeps us going.
True. What would you say is your biggest challenges as a photographer, wildlife photographer? Do you encounter challenges or is it just smooth sailing? I don't know.
I mean, last year they introduced the new prices in national reserves, I think, almost all over the country, especially Masai Mara. They've increased the prices. But I think if we want to like go recreationally to a national park and see our wildlife, Nairobi National Park is the best. I think it's fairly priced. And even Masai Mara, it's not that far of a drive. You have, 4 or 5 hours and you've reached. And even if you just stay a couple of days, 2-3 days, yes, of course, challenges like of cost come when you spend like a long period of time.
Which is your favorite national park? Which is your favorite park in Kenya that you love to go to over and over? I think it's Masai Mara, right?
Yes.
Goes without saying.
It's Masai Mara for sure.
So we're gonna go with second favorite.
So the second favorite, I wouldn't call it a national park. So I mean it's like a bit of both. So like Amboseli is like my second in joint with Lake Magadi. So Lake Magadi is also a place where I visit, where I stay at Lentore, where there's a photography hide where we can photograph animals such as lions, leopards, caracals, civets, elephants, giraffes at night.
Wow.
And they're drinking from a water hole and you're sitting at eye level.
Yes.
Which is a crazy experience.
Yes, I can imagine.
Amboseli has its own wonders. I mean, land of the gentle giants, which we call the elephants. Actually, the two giants, Mount Kilimanjaro, as well as the elephants. And we're extremely lucky to have one of the biggest tuskers in the world, Craig, who is still alive right now. And also previous ones like Tim the Tusker, who is very famous, extremely long horns. But of course, as you asked before, my favorite, Masai Mara.
Masai Mara, definitely. Yeah. Do you have a favorite animal? Mine is the lion, most definitely.
Or do
you just love them all?
Mine's the leopard.
Okay. Would you tell us why, maybe?
So
it's very beautiful.
It's a very beautiful creature. It's like with the spots create its own distinct pattern, and even just the way they move. Like, for example, if they're stalking prey, very quiet,
very gracious,
very elegant, and then they're also very curious animals, especially leopard cubs. You'll see, like, when I visited last year, there was a leopard called Luluka, and she had 2 new cubs. And there's one very curious cub. He keeps on coming closer and closer to the car. So that's why I love them. And when I see them, I just feel I have this connection with them.
Yeah.
Like we witnessed a leopard hunt, and when the leopardess brought out the kill towards the car, like straight head on towards the car, it was like a surreal moment, like a picture that I've been dreaming of my whole life.
Oh, wow.
It's like I've always had this connection with them.
Wow. You are in school. You are in 11th grade,
Yes,
right?
11th grade.
So how do you juggle school and, photography and rugby and, being with your family as well, sometime like that? How do you juggle all that? A lot is going on in your life.
So you mentioned the idea of family. So for us, family time is not a problem. We try to spend as much time as a family as possible. But you said mentioning balancing school, my hobbies, my interests like
Yes.
sports, music.
Yes.
So in the end, it all comes down to time management. And time management, like, you have to know what goes first, what you have to prioritize. Like, if you have an assignment for school, that needs to be finished before I go into editing certain photos, before I go into playing sports, before I go into do this music assignment. So I just have to know what I prioritize first, and then what comes second, third, fourth, what's my list of priorities as well.
I'm very proud of him. He's done a lot for the country, done a lot for himself. He's also done a lot for our family. He's done he's won a lot of photography competitions, and he does a lot for the local community in the Masai Mara. Also, he plays for the Kenya under-18 team, and he's also a great musician. So he's a very well all-rounded student. Even in terms of academics, he's very good. So I'm really proud of him for what he's doing, and I hope he keeps continue doing it in the future.
Yeah, because I learned from your family that you look up to him and you admire what he does. How important is Rohan's careers and hobbies to you?
I think it's very good because he inspires me to believe in what I'm doing and to continue doing what I'm passionate for. And it's very important for our family because it makes me more famous, and
Here we are,
and it's just a great way of putting our country on the map.
Does he tag you along to one of his many things that he does? Does he tag you
Yeah.
along?
So in the music concert that he hosted last year, I was one of the main drummers for the concert. And whenever we go to the Mara, I go with him, and he also now he's teaching me how to do photos and edit them. And I'm slowly trying to also enter into some competitions.
Okay. Well, is there anything that he does? He's into photography, he's into music, he's into rugby as well, sports as well. Is there anything out of the three that he does that you really like more than the other?
I think, well, if there's something that I really like, it's probably his photography because I get to go on all of these trips with him. But if there's something I'd probably relate to, it's probably his music because I'm also a musician as well.
Okay. Maybe you want to tell us what you are into personally?
So personally, like I said, I'm a musician. So I've finished grade 8 rock school and grade 8 London College of Music for drums, and I like just playing it for fun. Also, I like doing running. I like doing long distance running, and I'm also really into motorsports. So in the future, I'd probably want to do motorsport engineering and try and get into Formula 1.
You guys are very smart. I don't know where you get it from. You say it gets from the dad, the mom, you. Who would you attribute to all these in the family?
So I think smartness definitely doesn't come from dad. It probably comes more from mom.
Rohan thinks you. Okay, go ahead.
And my brother thinks he's really smart, but he's not that smart. I'm probably smarter. Yeah. So I think the smartness is mainly from mom. But yeah.
Okay. But of course, your dad has been pushing you guys, and you want to be doing that
Yeah.
too.
I think dad
in
is
the
like
many years
the financer of the family.
Okay. I know he's really pushing
And
this
yeah,
band.
and he also tries. He has a lot of connections. He's very well known in the country, so he gets us everywhere we want to be.
Which is a plus, right?
Yeah.
Well, shout out to you.
Yeah.
Do we already know what you are going to be as an adult? Are you going to be a wildlife photographer? Are you going to be a rugby player? Are you going to be a musician? Do you already know what you want to be in the future, or are you going to do pretty much everything?
So for as talks on photography, it's going to stay as a hobby. I know, as in, I might incorporate it into my career. So for my career, I'm looking into sports and engineering, maybe sports engineering itself.
Oh, okay.
And maybe if this rugby journey continues, maybe continuing in that rugby journey.
True.
Maybe becoming a sports photojournalist or Yeah.
Who knows?
Who
right?
knows?
Who
Yeah.
knows? So maybe you want to tell us what next for Rohan Shah?
So
What can we look out for? What can your fans look out for? People like me who do not know you now, I know you.
Yeah.
What can you look out for from you?
So, I mean, more of my photography is going to be coming out, and the main thing is now focusing on the Kenya Under-18 rugby, the Kenya rugby program. That's the biggest thing that I have in mind right now.
Just send a shout out and tell them to look out for you because you are coming and you're coming fast.
So, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has played a role in my life. The biggest thanks, of course, goes to my family, my mom, my dad, and especially my younger brother, who he always looks up to me, and I want to be that role model for him. And one of the other biggest thanks goes to Jeffrey Wu, my mentor, who has been my support system from 3 years ago when I started this photography journey. And just also thank you to school for supporting this journey. Thank you to friends. Thank you to my grandparents, cousins, and everyone else who supported me through this amazing journey of mine.
Well, there you had it. That is Rohan Shah himself. In his own words, 17-year-old whiz kid, brilliant mind, doing amazing things for the community, for the society, for the world. Who knows where he's going to be tomorrow? We can only sit and watch. It has been a pleasure hosting this brilliant mind right here on Citizen Digital. Check out more of these videos every week. Once again, my name is Kabuga.